It's another delicious day here in the Let's Make Food from Food kitchen, and time for another kitchen adventure. This time we're going full sugar. Lots of sugar. It's going to be so good. I don't do it very often, but this is going to be a treat. So I'm making toffee with pecans. So let's get started with our ingredients. So I've got 1/4 cup of water, 1.5 cups of pecans, which we're going to chop up. Then I have 1 cup of cane sugar. This is about 1 cup, give or take, of Belgian chocolate. You could also use dark chocolate, would be delicious. 1 cup of butter, and for this I like to use a quality butter. Love the Kerry Gold, so that's what I've got over here. Then this is some sea salt flakes that we're gonna sprinkle on top. There's no measurement because I'm just sprinkling it. And then I have my house-made vanilla extract. I will put a link below for that. Then over here, we're not using the apple butter, I was just using that to press my parchment paper down into the shape of my little tins. Now you can use an 8x8 pan, but I thought let's do some little individual servings so I can wrap them up as gifts if I wanted. And then I have a parchment lined baking sheet to toast our pecans. So, and we'll talk about our different thermometers here in just a sec too. Okay, so that's our ingredients. The first thing I'm gonna do is get most of this out of the way. I'm gonna move my sugar and my water over here because we're going to need that for cooking. And then I'm going to set this aside along, oops, I'm gonna throw some sea salt too, along with that. So I'm gonna just spread these out here and grab a knife because I forgot a knife. All right, I've got my knife, so I'm just gonna start chopping up these pecans. And we're going for some good sized chunks. They don't need to be tiny little bits. Okay, now I just want to get these onto my parchment lined baking sheet. You don't have to use parchment for this. I just like to. It's easier to clean up. Use a lot of parchment paper in my kitchen. Okay, so we're gonna spread that out. Set that over there for now. And I am gonna stick these in the oven. My oven is preheated to 400 degrees, and we're only gonna toast these for 4 or 5 minutes. You wanna start to kind of smell them and get those aromatics going, and I promise you, this step is gonna be worth it. You don't have to toast them, but it's gonna really bring out the flavor of the pecans and add a level of flavor layer to your toffee. So let's get it in the oven. Okay, I set my timer for 4 minutes. While that's going, let's talk about our thermometers here. Do you have to have one? No, you don't have to have one. It's gonna come in handy, and here's why. You want your butter mixture to come up to 300 degrees, and here's why that's important. When you have toffee, it's crunchy. The caramel crunches, right? And so that 300 degrees is what brings it to that point where it will get hard and then crunch instead of be soft and gooey. So that's why your temperature is important in getting that thermometer right. So this is a candy thermometer, liquid thermometer. This is, if you don't have one of those, you can just use a regular, like this is a meat thermometer. I have a shorter one. This one's kind of overkill, but I just wanted some examples. If you don't have a kitchen thermometer, I really encourage you to get one. Someday I'll go and do the affiliate links thing, but I think I just need to be a bigger channel first. So then the other thing is, this one actually has your temperature guides for some things on there, which is nice. I like those little things that they include. So then I have, and I already kind of mentioned it, my little pans. I do have them parchment lined so that they come out easily. They're not going to be perfect or pretty because, you know, it's paper, but I did weigh it down so that it would kind of hold the form of the round pan. So if you're using an 8x8, line the 8x8 and try to get the sides lined as well so that toffee doesn't stick and it comes out in a beautiful piece, which you'll then chop up anyway, but you don't want it to break in a way you didn't want, right? These I'm not gonna break, I'm just gonna simply take them out and remove the paper. Then if I wanted to do individual servings or as a gift, it's easy to do that, and they're kind of uniform in size. So it's just a choice. You can do it however you want, Okay, so I'm gonna set up over here and get our butter and sugar and water melting, and then we'll add our vanilla extract. But I don't want to have it done too soon because I want to put the pecans in the bottom of this before that's done. So you kind of have to juggle some things. You want that prepped so your mixture doesn't start cooling before you're ready. Okay, so I'm gonna start setting up over here and I'll come back in just a minute. Okay, these are nice and toasted, and so I'm just gonna put a little bit in the bottom of each of these tins. And that will help weigh down the paper too. Okay, so these are prepared. I'm ready to start this. My pan is already heating. The pan, I should mention, try to use a thicker pan that's on the bottom so that it heats slowly but evenly. If you have a really thin pan, you might run into a little issues with your temperature being even. So let's get started. I'm gonna prep this stuff too, because once we've poured it in there, we need to move quickly before it sets up too much for our toppings to stick. So here we go. There's our water, and we're gonna plop this Kerrygold right on in there. There's our Kerrygold and our sugar. Okay, and that is cane sugar. So we're gonna let that melt and we're gonna kind of start whisking it, and we wanna keep pretty consistent with our whisking because we don't want anything to stick or burn to the bottom of our pan. So once this butter is melted, we're gonna bring it to a boil, and we're gonna boil it on a low roll until we reach that 300 degrees with our thermometer. So I've just checked on it and it's about 250 degrees. We're getting closer. I got out a spatula. I measured out my vanilla extract to just quickly put it in there, stir it in, and then we'll immediately pour into our little containers here. Okay, we have hit our 300 degrees. I'm putting in my vanilla extract and stirring that up before we put it in the pan. So now we're ready to pour this in the pan, so we're gonna do it pretty quickly. Just enough to cover those nuts. And we'll probably have more pans than we need, but I'd rather be prepared. So now I'm just trying to get it to even out a little bit in this one pan so that all the nuts are covered and we've got an even layer. You can use a spatula to spread it, but I feel like then you're just taking some of your toffee out of your container because it's gonna stick to your spatula. Okay, now we're gonna quickly take some chocolate and put a single layer on top. Okay, and we're doing this quick because we want it to melt before the toffee sets. Now this is the trick. I'm gonna take this and set this right on top of there, and the heat of the toffee should melt the chocolate so that we don't have to try and melt the chocolate separately. Okay, let's take a look and see if our chocolate is ready to spread. We're just gonna test one. Oh, it is. It's so ready and beautiful. So we're just gonna do this real quick, and I will show you what this looks like. Oh my goodness, you guys. Sometimes I love this work. Is it even work? It's not work. Check this beautiful chocolate spreading around just like it's supposed to because it quickly melted. That's a win. That's a win too. They're all wins. Now, one of the nice things about being the one to make this is you get to taste it as you go and lick chocolate. Now it's time to finish our toppings. We're gonna sprinkle a little bit of the pecans on here and gently just kind of press them down so they stick to the chocolate. Okay, and you're not doing a lot. It's just for a little bit of extra aesthetics and flavor. A little crunch on the bottom, a little crunch on the top to go with the crunch. Okay, last but not least, we have our flake sea salt that we're just gonna sprinkle a little on there to give it that little hint of salt. And that's all we do for all of them. And then we're gonna stick them in the fridge for about an hour before we take them back out. These have sat in the fridge for an hour, and now it's time to take them out of our paper, just like this, and put them on our plate, or in a container, however you want. It should just come right off of there for you, just like that. So these are beautiful, nice. I really like that these are single serving sizes, which they're just a little more uniform than breaking it up, so it's portioned better, right? And there we go. I'm just gonna break off this little piece right here. Oh my gosh, you guys, that is so good. I could eat a whole one of these and not even think twice about it. I might think twice about the second one just because I've been working so hard at the gym that I don't even know how long I'd have to spend working out to burn off the calories for one of these, but I think one's worth it, right? Thanks for joining me here today in the Let's Make Food from Food Kitchen. From my kitchen to yours, let's make some sweet treats.
That's one boy puppy.